Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Roadside Nuggets. Everything is unmuted and going. Double check, check mark. So sweet. So I'm going to try to do something new today. For all of our Telegram followers, I know there's an option here to unmute people, just to talk with people if they have questions or if they would like to share something in regards to what we're talking about. So definitely, I know Jerry was sharing with me, there's like an option on here you can press if you like to talk, and it like puts a hand up, I guess. So I'm gonna be looking at this throughout the stream and practicing this new process today and seeing how far we get with it. But yeah, feel free to let me know if you want to shoot me a question or something like that. I know comments are still a little bit at the minimum at this point where I can see them on screen. However, that's gonna figure out, I guess. I don't know, something will happen. But for everyone who does like to communicate on the stream, there we go. Telegram, YouTube, Facebook. I'll do my best to catch your question. But yeah, gonna move forward. So today is pretty interesting. Yesterday we had the 9/11 portal date. We just had the 9/9 portal, and then 9/11 itself is quite a portal itself, just because of the energetics of what it represents in our physical reality, and just how closely it ties everyone, or most of the humans, especially in this country, together with a tragic event. So definitely grateful for everyone. Again, I shared this yesterday. We are soul contracted for our roles and our purposes in life. And a lot of those were already pre-decided before you even walked into this life physically. So again, for everyone who took on those roles and signed up for that in your soul contract, to go to war, be a soldier, the first responders, people on the line, people who are medical aides and things, grateful for all of you. Very, very grateful and appreciative for all of you. Now, we get to this point where we have to draw a line. Because as a military child, growing up in a military home with both my parents in the military, my father was still in the military when I graduated high school. So it essentially was my whole life as a child. I understand a lot about the experience that is, and just for the families that go through it. And there is a negative connotation mixed in with that with the respect and honor, it pulls very quickly into reverence. It pulls very quickly into some entitlement, right? This is where I have seen so many people who have been on the front lines, who have been first responders, who have had great skill and a lot of experience with travesty and disaster. How quickly that steals from your own ability to be that example. There's a certain point we get to in our suffering where we're like, all right, cool. I want to get paid for this shit. I want to be recognized. I want credit. I want medals. I want all this, right? My father was a lot of the same way. Not that my father was vain. My father was a very proud man. My father prided himself a lot off his achievements and successes. That was really what mattered the most to him. And so just from approaching it from that standpoint, no one's saying these things are wrong, that you should diminish your achievements and your success and you should feel poorly about them. No. However, when you get to the point where you start feeling like what you have done should bring in what they call royalties. A lot of celebrities or people who've done productions, and these are constant productions that people, even after the time it's been produced and shared, people still play it on and on. They take little snippets from it and they make other things out of it. And so that's still someone's work, right? And they want to be compensated for it. They want royalties. They want the credit rolling in 10, 20 years after they made that one choice, that one achievement, and they want to be paid the rest of their life for it, right? This is going to be a little sensitive for quite a bit of you out there. I understand that. This is coming through with so much compassion. I understand, okay? That life isn't easy. Life, period, itself isn't easy. We didn't come here for an easy life. So get that out of your head. Stop letting that be a reason for you to be or do or say what you do, okay? Nobody came here for an easy life. You're not going to get it. It's not ever coming. Throw it out, okay? the quicker you let go of these illusions and belief systems of where you're trying to get to, that you're never actually going to arrive there. It's a waste of your effort, your time, your thoughts, your energy. And this makes you more bitter about the life you have right now because it doesn't look like what you want. Can anyone say dissatisfied? It's where everybody's at, right? I have so much compassion and love and respect for people who've been in those situations and environments, And it's sad. It is sad how we get to this point where people do amazing things. They really step up. They really grab their balls in moments, and they really achieve great, remarkable things. There were so many things that Mom, as God, God didn't come down here with an ego. God doesn't have ego. There were so many people that Mom actually specifically said how much respect she had for them. And she created them. She gave birth to every single person on this planet. And yet there were still individuals on this planet that had achieved things, had come to understanding things, had shared and helped support different things that Mom respected so much. And she was very appreciative, and she honored that. Especially the military, the police officers, the firefighters, the medical aides, all of them, the doctors. There's so many people Mom had respect for. That didn't mean you had the carte blanche. That didn't mean you had it all in the bag. God is multidimensional. And even her as a multidimensional everything, the creator, can look at a being that maybe necessarily isn't 100% in alignment, 100% in right action, completely perfectly embodied in divinity. And God can still say, wow, I respect you. I love you, and I'm grateful for you to make that choice. Thank you. That's powerful. I don't know about you, but with all the reverence and the belief system we have about God and this fear of God and all this, for God to actually come down here in a physical body and say that, holy shit, that's a whirlwind. It changes so many things because what you thought God was and how God thought and what God did by being God, none of them, from your human standpoint, match up to her. They're not an equal vibrational match. There's no way you can conceive who she is or what she is. She's just simply everything. And you have to let go trying to figure that out and just accept that God is everything. Right? So, again, going back to where I was starting off with this, so I'm going to get too far off track. Again, I appreciate and have so much love and respect for everyone out there in your roles and what you chose to do in your life. To support other people, protect other people, and ensure that life could keep going on. Okay? Regardless of all the other choices we have made as a human being, there are still choices that we can be very appreciative of. Love, honor, and respect. And make sure that those choices are the ones we give focus and love to, not everything else. Right? So it just felt really important to share that in the beginning of the stream today. Because there's a lot of things, and I thought it was funny, there's somebody was posting posts about 9/11, and everyone does it every year. It's nothing new. It's something that happens every year. It's about holidays. Every holiday, someone's posting something about the holiday. Every, like Memorial Day, Labor Day, all these different things. There's always memes and things like that, right? So for whatever reason, somebody got very, very triggered that someone had shared a post about 9/11. And, their comment was, you're a moron. If you think we can forget that, you're a moron. It's like, well, the fact that we're rehearting and it's triggering you, what's moronic about it? Fill me in. I'm confused, And these are the base terms, like the basic, types of idiocy that we deal with where people just nitpick, they poke, and they look at something out of context, and then that's what they go for. Completely dismissing and bypassing all the relevant information before and after that helps support the reason why that exists. They're like, no, this, I don't agree. It's like, well, why not? What's the reason? What's the purpose? What's your feeling on this? Oh, I don't have one. Then why are you even saying you disagree? You just don't like it. You're judgmental. You're opinion-based. You got to get to the core root of it, because most of the shit that people are complaining about and pointing fingers at, it's nothing. It's not even real. And most of it honestly can be dissolved in a moment through a conversation. Simple communication out loud, sharing your truth, each other, and a lot of things can be cleared up in that. And you'd be surprised how much can quickly just transition, because now the very problem itself has been given a voice to. Instead of everyone playing pretend, dancing on eggshells with each other, dancing around the bush, who's gonna break first, with smiles on it, like, that's so dumb. It's a waste of time. It's exhausting to even go into the acting play of pretending that it's okay, and it's not, right? It's like, why even waste your time? Just be real as possible. If people can't handle that, if people don't like your realness and your authenticity, fuck them, right? You're not here on this planet to appease other human beings and their dysfunction. You're not here to appease other human beings and their delusions at all. You owe them nothing. The only being on this planet that you owe anything to is God. And she's still here. Physically, you're standing on her body, right? So God is here and everywhere. She's the only one you owe anything back to. And the only thing she ever asked you to do was be your highest, grandest self. She didn't ask for anything back. She didn't want you to give anything of yourself to her. She wanted you to make the best choices for yourself so you can live a happy life. That's how deep and real God is. Everyone else is so worried about all the surface shit, and it's not important. This is the distractions and the constant black holes that keep sucking your life force out. And then you have no motivation or energy to do something for your life that benefits it, because you're already exhausted and drained, right? So it's not just about making better choices. It's about figuring out what choices you're already making that are not working for you, that don't serve you, cutting those out and replacing them with the proper process to move forward, right? It sounds simpler, said than done, but you got to have an intention to even start with it. An initial decision made, like, you know what, I'm going to work on myself. You know, I'm not perfect. I don't have to be perfect right now. All she ever asked of me, all Mom ever asked, was just to be the greatest, grandest version of yourself you can be in this moment and every moment. No matter what you're facing, no matter what you're going through, no matter how triggering or chaotic the situation is, all she asks of you is to be the greatest, grandest version of yourself in that moment and make the best choice you can in that moment that you can make. That's all she's ever asking you, right? But we create these other expectations. We create these bigger belief systems that God wants this from us, or we have to do this, we have to be this, and all this crap, all of it. We are cleaning the slate all the way back to the beginning and realizing that the core functions of how we started this life didn't even work in the beginning. Didn't work in the first place at all. And we have been lying to ourselves and trying to pretend with everyone, our family, our friends and co-workers at work, our religious friends at church, and all those different things, pretending that this lie that we are living in, everyone knows shit's crazy, and they're all like looking around. It's like, well, nobody's saying anything about it, so I'm just gonna like, oh yeah, I'm fine. Oh yeah, like kids are school, like, oh, I'll see you after. It's like, like, how many days are you gonna get up and play the same dumb game with yourself before you realize, I'm tired of this. This doesn't bring me joy. There's no expansion. There's no realness in this, and everybody's living in the lie. And the more I try to pretend that lie is real with them, the sicker I get in my stomach. The worse I feel inside. The most confused moments come to me because I'm trying to fit back into a dysfunctional delusion reality. It's not even real. You've already started breaking out of it. This is where the confusion and the internal wars start to begin with oneself. Because now you've realized you made a choice that was much deeper than you realized it was. And now that you're starting to wake up, you're starting to find things internally within yourself. You're starting to connect the dots. And it's becoming a oh shit moment for you. You're like, oh shit, right? And these are the moments that will scare the hell out of the ego right back into dysfunction. Scare the ego right back into what's familiar, because that's the false sense of contentment, where we can feel like we're okay, but we're really not. We're just going back into the covers trying to cover it all, it all up. So, definitely getting your rainbow balls to the point where you can face yourself and just be real, And that's another thing. Like, people don't know how to be real with other people. They don't know how to express themselves truthfully, to other people and be transparent like that. However, if you ask those same people if they've done that practice with themselves, if they've worked on that same thing with themselves, most of the time they'll say no. Most of the times they have this delusion in their head, in their mind, that they think they have to practice this out with other people first to get it, or they have to see somebody do it first to actually get it, and then it comes internal. It's like, no. Because the way you will approach it, the way you will say it, the way you will feel it and share it, is going to be completely different from somebody else. So why are you trying to mimic and copy their way of expressing if yours is going to be different? This is why you have to experience it with yourself first before the external comes along. Because every single time someone chooses external, it's a fuck up. It's going to cramp the energy back up because it has to be a symbiotic, relationship with your own energetic field. So things are moving in and out of your being. That's flow. That's balance. But if we have externalized and pushed this outside of ourselves, by the time we, where the energy comes and goes, give and receive, equal energy exchange even with your own self in the universe. Now, if we've externalized and pushed it outside of our being, there is no symbiotic flow coming back to you with that energy. It's a lot going out of yourself into the externalized form. But since it's externalized, it's not internal. It's not going to come back to you. And therein lies all the depletion and exhaustion where we were like, why won't this come back to me? Why won't you love me? It's like, oh my God, what's going on? It's like, you can't go about it that way. You have to internalize it first. Therefore, the energy's in you. Therefore, if you give it, it's going to come back because it's in you. Get it? You have to be the anchor for the energy to flow in and out of you. Nobody else and no other thing outside of yourself can be your anchor for your energy. That's why you're here. You got to be that. Okay? I have some really cool things I want to talk about today. Give me one moment. Looks like a funny old device over here is being funny. It was a video of, pretty sure I put it on there, but maybe it's not. I don't know. Okay, so it didn't transfer as I originally set it up before the stream started, so we're just going to move along. Accept it as it is, surrender. Thank you, Mom. So apparently that wasn't needed or highest for today for that. So for another thing also, this little... Okay, I'm going to do another way because apparently this thing is trying to fight me. Okay. All right, so plan B. We are going to pull this up here on this other device. And we're going to see it from there. Is that not working? I put the stuff in the video and the document stuff on here already, and it was on here, and then when I started the actual stream, it disappeared. Weird. So I don't know. Let's go plan B. If it was in... That's right, it was in there. Thank you, everyone, for having beautiful patience and bearing with me in these moments. All right, here we go. So it was something that Bobby had posted on her Instagram earlier today, and I found it interesting. So I was reading it, and basically it's a joint statement from ABP, ABFM, and ABIM, and on dissemination of misinformation by board-certified physicians about COVID-19. And this was interesting because it said on dissemination of misinformation. So listen to this pretty carefully and see what they are calling misinformation, okay? So it's the Federation of State Medical Boards, FSMB, which supports its member state medical licensing boards, has recently issued a statement saying that providing misinformation about the COVID-19 vaccine contradicts physicians' ethical and professional responsibilities and therefore may subject a physician to disciplinary actions, including suspension or revocation of their medical license. We at the American Board of Family Medicine, ABFM, the American Board of Internal Medicine, ABIM, and the American Board of Pediatrics, ABP, support FSMB's position. I hate acronyms, they're so stupid and annoying. We also want all physicians certified by our boards to know that such an unethical or unprofessional conduct may prompt their respective board to take action that could put their certification at risk. Expertise matters, and board certified physicians have demonstrated that they have stayed current in their field. Spreading misinformation or falsehoods to the public during a time of a public health emergency goes against everything our boards and our community of board certified physicians stand for. The evidence that we have safe, effective, and widely available vaccines against COVID-19 is overwhelming. We are particularly concerned about physicians who use their authority to denigrate vaccination at a time when vaccines continue to demonstrate excellent effectiveness against severe illness, hospitalization, and death. We all look to board-certified physicians to provide outstanding care and guidance. Providing misinformation about a lethal disease is unethical. Make sure you're paying attention to this. There's some cool points in this. So let's read that part again. Providing misinformation about a lethal disease is unethical. Interesting. Okay. Unprofessional and dangerous. In times of medical emergency, the community of expert physicians committed to science and evidence collectively shares a responsibility for giving the public the most accurate and timely health information available so they can make decisions that best work for themselves and their families. What a load of bullshit. Okay, let's go back through that and pick a couple of things out. So, let's go backwards. Let's start there. So, one, a collective board panel, all these board panels and physicians, doctors, all these, whatever, title name people who think they're so established and so very well off in their science and findings. They will base. And it's funny because they approach you as if they already have the public's, vote. Okay, these are people who, the public trusts them. Humanity, society trusts them to let them know what is healthy, what is good for their physical bodies, what is healthy for their brains, for whatever, virus or whatever, all these different things. You have been appointed the one to support people, in an area that's not necessarily very easy to understand. So therefore, humanity, in ignorance, gave more power away. Just slid underneath the table. Okay, you know what? You seem to know what you're talking about. You seem to know what you're doing. I'm just going to let you take the reins on this, and you just tell me what I need to do to be a happy human being in my life. Oh my God. That's horrendous. It's scary, The part where it's talking about, expertise. Expertise matters. Now, everyone knows this COVID thing is a bunch of bullshit, right? And even though it might actively be... Now when we say it's bullshit, everything's multidimensional. No one is saying the COVID-19 doesn't exist. Whatever they're calling this, it does exist. However, the whole facade about it isn't real, okay? It's man-made. They made it in a lab. It was intentionally to be released at a certain point in time, and they've been planning this for moments. They knew exactly what was going to happen to the population once this released because they already studied it in their labs with other animals, probably other people. That's what trafficking's for. But they won't tell you that because that's a no-no, right? So let's just stop playing stupid with this. Let's be very honest, okay? So these beings, actually threatening doctors, okay? I know the doctors have been getting a lot of the bad raps lately because of the whole vaccination and all that stuff. So it kind of like takes the whole thing. It's like you're all evil, It's like it's not actually necessarily true. And there's been many stories of doctors and healthcare providers and people sharing the truth and letting them know that you don't need the vaccination, all of this, and like it's not good for you. It's bad for your health. It will hurt you. It's not okay to take the vaccine. All these different things. And they are actively putting their jobs on the line, actively putting their everything, their career on the line to be honest with people that they, in their conscience, cannot go to bed that night knowing that they are lying to people in their face and people are dying. People are getting hurt. People are abusing and deceiving and manipulating each other, and they can't go to bed with a clear conscience like that. I appreciate people like that, who can be so real with themselves that they can't sit with that. That's not okay with them. They're not going to sit there and go to work every single day and pretend a lie. They might have to be tactful. Might have to choose moments when it's highest to be real and open and honest, but probably not every human being that walks into that hospital is going to want to hear a doctor telling them, you don't need this shot. Most of the time when they come to that hospital, they're already sold on the idea and they just want it, right? To meet an opposition at that point would probably spin someone so bad that they'll call your boss, or they'll make a ruckus about it, right? So I understand. I'm very grateful for the gravity of the intensity that beings on the front lines deal with while we are going through these changes, because it's a lot. And even though the nurses in the hospitals are giving the shots, they didn't decide that one day, oh, we're just going to do this. Like, clearly this was a plan put in effect by people who a lot of times don't necessarily work at the hospital every day. The beings that put this into motion use whatever things and whatever people are just happen to be in the spots that they want to abuse and control, right? So it happened. That's how it happens. Basically, you're already in your job, you're already doing your role, you're already all that, and then that's how the cabal operates. They take advantage, they manipulate what's already set in place. The ego can't create anything. The ego doesn't have the ability to create at all. So it only has the ability to take and manipulate into something else, trying to hide the truth, right? So that's where we're at with this is, obviously, people are fighting back. Obviously, people are not okay with this. They're not okay with their children being harmed. They're not okay with their wives, their husbands being harmed. They're not okay with families as a whole being a target for this kind of attack, right? And you're seeing people all over the place standing up. They don't really care about their jobs at this point. But to realize that even though everyone understands and accepts this is true reality, this is what's happening, this is the fact that's what's going on in our world, you would still have the same board that wants to maintain the same vision to the public as they are the safe ones. They are the ones here to protect you. They are the ones you appointed, you voted for, you pay your taxes every year for it and all that. They are the ones to help you, which is the biggest lie in my, I don't know when. It's a huge lie, right? Those same people will come down hard on other doctors and other people that have already been put in those situations and tell them, no, you can't be real. And they call that misinformation. I'm confused. Aren't you the boss of this doctor? So aren't you supposed to be more aware of what's going on than he is? Because you're the one supposed to make sure that other doctors are on the line. So if you're fucked and my doctor is telling me what's up, but then you're threatening my doctor who's telling me the truth for his job, something's not adding up. Something's way out of line here, because isn't the doctors, aren't the health professionals supposed to be there for the well-being of humanity, for the beneficial, support of all life, human life, so it can thrive? So if you're not being that, and you're trying to crush the doctors who are being that example, something tells me you're up to no good. What you're doing and how you're going about it is up to no good, right? You see, it's going to start showing itself. CDC, all these different people, it's going to start coming out more and more, making wide, out of this world statements and announcements, yet it doesn't add up to the truth. And why do you feel just because you are who you say you are, you think you can make these out of this world claims that aren't real just to get a rise out of the public, just to cause upheaval, cause triggers, get spins going, pull attention, distract, while you're also doing something else behind people's backs. All over it, yeah? And they are quite good at it because they've been doing it for quite some time. So, definitely keep your eyes open, people, and be aware. Oh, that's right. Bobby had made a comment I really liked too, so I'm gonna read that. So she said, in other words, it's not science anymore. Science is allowed to be questioned. It's the very premise of science. They are threatening to pull medical licenses for anyone who doesn't agree with their narrative. No matter what you feel about this subject, this is our freedom on the line. When we are no longer allowed to disagree, we are no longer free. That should bother you. If it doesn't, you're numb and need to move away from the Prozac. I like that. It was pretty funny. And yeah, we seriously, it's crazy out there, people. Realizing the world we live in at this point, and even just with our reharder yesterday about 9/11, how long ago that was, yet to me, honestly, it seems like it was yesterday. It honestly does not seem that long ago that 9/11 happened, even though it was in 2000. It was literally over 20 years ago, So, I mean, this is wild, how far you can get from a moment. And yet it was so chaotic and the travesty of it was immense that it still holds control. Fear, anxiety, pain and suffering, and paranoia over so many people today, even 20 years later. That's insane, right? Yet that's the whole reason why it was done. It's the whole purpose for it, right? Humanity, or rather not even humanity, the deep state. The deep state loved to create issues and problems. And this is something that was an understanding the angels were helping me understand earlier today, where, through that notification they were sending out, about coming down on health officials and stuff about, dissemination of information. Excuse me, I'm burping a lot. And trying to say that they were lying. And I was confused. I was how angels? I was how do they, how do you get to this point where it's it's clearly a blatant lie, but the liars aren't willing to give it up, right? And it was interesting how they were taking me to this scenario where I was literally watching some of this take place and happen, and how, a lot of the things with the deep state is based off control, manipulation, deception, and mutating things. So they're not their actual original essence. They've been contorted, corrupted, and that the deep state is very big on this. And so I was trying to feel into it, and there was something there. I was picking up on it, and it's with old kings, old rulers, people who are used to dominating a population, suppressing a population, controlling a population. And whenever you have a massive plan unfolding, and it was kind of cool how they took me through this scenario. It was almost I think at one point I was standing in an office or something, and I feel it was somewhere within I don't know, guess the deep state or wherever, when their hideouts or something. I was standing there. It was wild. This was earlier today, and I was watching something go down, and it was whenever a plan, it was the angels were walking me through an instruction course. It was funny. And whenever something is unraveling, and you have a plan, and you have dominated an entire population of people, now for that plan to go through effectively, then they must act as you have predicted. The population, or whatever you are trying to control and dominate, must conform and act accordingly to what you expect and predict them to do. And so for the plans that they have unleashed and are unfolding, that's what a lot of it's based off of, is the population that they are unfolding this on has to maintain the same. They can't deviate. They can't uprise. They can't revolt. They must be as predictable and as expected as possible, right? And that's their plan. So when this starts to go south, and the very population that they depend on to carry out this plan of power over and domination control, when that same population that they depend on for the plan to work starts to make their own choices, starts to uprise, starts to revolt and say no, now you have an issue and a problem, because if the population is not going to carry out the energy of it, it's going to backfire. And you've already put your head out of the window already. You've already said hi, so people can see you now, right? And this is kind of where mom is going to checkmate, the deep state and the cabal in a lot of ways, and just the overall the ego, because it's like it's so confident in a very false sense of way that it's going to win. So as that plan's unraveling, and as everyone starts to stand up and say, no, like, fuck that. And this is what's happening within the medical field, with doctors and medical, professionals who are done. They're like, fuck that. No, it's a no from me. I do not agree. I do not resonate with this. It is not true. It's not my authentic expression of what's real to me. It's not. And they are choosing to say no and stand up. This creates a massive problem for the CDC and everybody else who's trying to control humanity through misinformation, while they say everyone else telling you the truth, they're the misinformers. They're trying to flip everything to confuse the masses more, to where out of confusion, the masses will go with what's familiar, which is what? Back to social media, back to news media, back to newspapers, back to other people telling them what's happening, what's going on, what they need to do, and them just doing it. Why? Not because they hate you, not because they don't want to listen to you. They have so spun, they have no stability of foundation themselves, and the fear and paranoia and anxiety are so high, they can't handle it. So out of not knowing any better and not having the confidence and the stamina to choose that and go for it, they're going to go back to what's familiar, which unfortunately is to become, just be another sheep. It's going to be a ping pong like this until more beings start standing up and say, you know what? No, I'm going to quit this. It's going to generate momentum, because we've already been seeing many places around the world, countries uprising, governments being overthrown, dictators being kicked out, people in the streets. Humanity is getting their voice back, and they are learning to say no very loudly and very sternly. So at this point, as this blend of energy starts to move up out of the collective back into professional places, establishments, Congress, governments, politics, and everything of the sort, everything under the sun. Once it starts moving from just the general public into the homes, into the schools, into the career, workforce places, everywhere, it's going to start exploding everything out of the water. Because now what we look at with the same control that they have implemented, I need some water, implemented within the medical field. It's the same bullshit they've implemented within the school systems, regulations and policies, and workforce job places, everywhere. Everywhere you go in public, into a building, there's signs everywhere, different, logo stamps, everything, CDC, this and that, and all this is crap, right? All that energy used to confuse the population even more versus just help people, right? And this is where we get to the point where okay, how fucked up is this world to the point where literally nobody that we have appointed, nobody we have accepted as a leader, except for Trump, nobody we have, paid taxes or anything like that to, they've all fallen short because they were sold out to other people. They sold themselves out to other people. It's a game that's never going to end because it keeps bouncing around. And nobody wants to be the fully accountable one. Nobody wants to be the one to step out and say, okay, I'll be the face of this. I'll say it. I'll do all the things nobody wants to do because someone's got to do it. And until that happens, they can't get the ball rolling, right? And that's what Mom realized so much to a point, is that the ball's not going to get rolling till somebody does it, which is why we needed God to do that for us, because we could not, for the life of us, get our asses moving and make a choice because we didn't know. We were confused, right? And a lot of this too, there's a video of a woman. I forgot what she was touching on some really important points about basically the masks and the COVID things, and she was talking about how we've had no one has found, a vaccine, a cure for, HIV, and there was like quite a few other different things that we haven't found cures or vaccines for. Yet somehow in like 1 year, the most deadly virus in the world happens, and we are able to find not one vaccine cure. We were able to come up with like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different vaccines with different names and all. This is that strain and this is that strain. But you see how fast that happened? Where's the HIV and AIDS vaccines were? And actually, the funny thing is, I found this out like 10 plus years ago. I was like mortified. I was absolutely mortified by this, because what it meant was scary for me at that point. I still had a lot of fear to transform. And I was looking at the U.S. government patents, just for whatever, for kicks and giggles, to see what our country owns, what is patented and copyrighted that, necessarily isn't really given to the public. Lo and behold, HIV, AIDS, and all kinds of things that humanity dies from is making human life so miserable and painful and just chaotic. They have the patent for it, which I'm confused about. So if you have the patent for a virus, would one say you maybe made that virus? Why would you make that? Oh, wait, was that kind of like the plan back then? Was kind of like what you did now with COVID? Was COVID like the original version of the HIV you tried to do like a long time ago? It's kind of interesting, And everyone in humanity is aware that these diseases and viruses, these are what people are scared about. People are scared to be in relationships, have, intimacy with each other, to even go around connecting with certain people, talking, having, don't touch me, all these different things, because of all the paranoia and anxiety about these viruses and things. Meanwhile, someone's back here in the lab at the deep state organization, they're fucking making it. It's absolutely gross. And then now we're sitting in this year of 2021, and now we have like 10 different, cures and everything like that can cure. It's like, if you can do it that fast, why didn't you do it before? But if you did it that fast for this virus, that now we're finding out that you very recently planned and did in the lab, all that, Wuhan lab, money from, the country there, all the 9 yards, all that. So finding out about all this, it's like, how much money does ego waste on misinformation bullshit? And how much money these companies actually spend to keep up these lies, right? On study, research, creating different things, fucking human life up even more to create more problems that they can be the saviors for in the long run. It's like all that energy, all that money, all that focus, the amazing people that you are using as scientists, mathematicians, all these people that create things, and you are using and just, taking advantage of everything and creating lower reality things with it. When we have some of the most brilliant people in the world on the planet. Einstein, freaking Alan Watts, like geniuses who have come, many different times, in our human quote unquote history, really herstory, and these same beings that were these people, they're here right now in other physical bodies. All of us on here, this physical planet, we've been all the other people in our lifetimes. All the history books you read, all the research you do about people who've been here before that have died, guess who was those people? You and me. Every single one of us have been here for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. We never left this planet. That's the most bizarre thing. And so when we read and revere these people for who they were and what they said and what they did, it's like, if you had any idea and realized who you actually were and who you are now and how that person in that lifetime, with how much reverence and how much just favor you give that person, if they actually had a sight in your life right now with how much you really just honor and respect and appreciate these people for who they stood up to be in human life, if they were actually here for a moment and they had a view of yours, would they be happy with it? Would they be sold and just completely buttered up by all your beautiful words and compliments for them for what they did in their life? Or would they say, like, what the fuck? You're here now. I'm not. I did my part. Where's your part? Huh. It's interesting when you look at that from that perspective. It's like, yeah, where is my part at? Am I doing my part? Is everybody else doing their part? Or are we so stuck in what has already been, and we have no confidence and balls of thinking that we can create another story on top of that, that we have to go back to what was before? I will exit this planet so quick if that is the collective choice that we're going to move to, which is not. It's not the highest timeline, thank God. I would be gone so very quickly off this planet. It gets to the point, it's like, how you gotta be the greatest. You gotta be the best you can be, and no one can tell you how to be that, right? You have a heart. You are created from love. You are beautiful, divine, bright light from heaven itself, sent down here in a physical body to carry out the work of heaven. Nothing about that says ego. Nothing about that says less than, right? Yet that's the constant way we see ourselves. We don't see ourselves as connected to God. We don't see ourselves as being a part of heaven. We see ourselves as down here, heaven's up there, it's somewhere we're trying to get to, and that must mean that we're different from them. No, you're not different. You might look different, you might feel different, because there's a very big, huge contrast in what the etheric in heaven is like, and the experience of it, and what hell is, and the experience of hell where we are, right? So, of course, it's going to be a different scenario and experience. However, no one ever said that you left. No one ever said that you were cut off, that you were disconnected, you couldn't come back home, or that there even was an original disconnection. No. Absolutely not. Mom physically came here because she never forgot. Even if humanity, in our thousands and thousands of years here on this planet, and our forgetfulness of what we are and who our mother is, God herself, our mother, never forgot who her children were. And she came here with all the balls in creation. Oh my God, the fire this woman has. And she blazed everything away and told us who we were. She told us who she created us to be and how much love she put into every single one of us. And at the end of the day, it's us that are not believing that. It's us that choose something less. No, it can't possibly be that grand. I couldn't possibly be that beautiful. I couldn't possibly be that great. Look at me, Mom. Look what I've done. Look at the choices I've made. Look what I've made a mess of myself. What am I supposed to do with this? And she would smile at you and tell you, figure it out. But I created you and I know you can do it. Bam! Right back at you. What do you got now? It's not God's fault, and it's not on God's shoulders. She has prepared you and she has gifted you every single thing you need in abundance so you can make this journey. It's you who are not making the choices. Playing it small, procrastinating, and pulling yourself back from the truth that's going to set you free. And the feeling of that freedom coming so close to you scares the ego that it pushes you back into what you already know. And it scares you to understand and to learn something that's possibly brand new to you. That's the truth. Okay? Thank you everyone for being awesome on the live stream today. I do see a lot of people on the Telegram, but I don't see any hands. So I don't know if it's supposed to show me a hand maybe. I don't know. I've been looking at it the whole time on the stream and I haven't seen any hands or anything come up. So I guess nobody probably has questions. Well, this is good, definitely. But definitely if someone had a question or anything like that, I definitely want to give it a moment to answer if they are. I don't see. Oh, wait, I have this phone today. I have a different phone. I'm using different phones and stuff today, so hopefully maybe this. Okay, no, that's not going to work. Maybe this will work. I don't know. Kind of just got to roll with the punches and just receive it as it comes, I guess. I'm going to check the comments on the live stream on Facebook real quick, just to make sure that we don't have any questions. Here we go. 5D full disclosure. Let's go. Beautiful. Live. Sweet. All right, got a few comments on here. I can see a little bit more of. Okay, so no questions, but thank you everyone for being with us and joining. And I'm pretty sure, as usual, as soon as I enter the stream, it's gonna show me a bunch of comments that I wasn't able to see earlier. So again, to you, all of you, and the ones I can't even see right now, I love you and appreciate you all for pushing. Be present with yourselves. These energies coming in are pretty hot. We are sitting on September 12th. And just to remind everyone, September 1st was the day that the displacement energy for the collective started anchoring in for our experience. So we are definitely well along the way of that rollout. And that energy is already integrating to your experience as we speak. And so any one of you out there that are experiencing drastic measures of shifting and upheaval, displacement in your life, things not really working out for you or just coming to a complete stop out of nowhere, definitely do not fret. Don't freak out. Don't spin. Be centered and trust. It's gonna happen for the highest reason. And there's a lot of people who are in different places that you can't be there anymore. For the things that are rolling out and that what's coming, you can't be there anymore. You did your part. You did enough. It's okay to let it go. And unfortunately, we have the hardest time letting things go, even the things that we are so proud of. This is why we need God's help. And this is what she is offering us, is this release. It doesn't have to be this painful, chaotic, sad thing, okay? The quicker you can let it go and release it, the more is going to come in. And definitely with the experiences from just talking to different team members today and just sessions over the last couple of days, the energy is on the move. And definitely people are already starting to experience the beginning moments of displacement, losing jobs, shifting homes, moving to different places, new cars, different things, and it's meant to give you a whole completely new environment, a different experience in your environment that's going to change the way you think, feel, and understand things. So it's absolutely important that this happens for everyone. So definitely don't take it hard. Don't judge yourself while you go through this process. But then again, just so harder for everyone, this energy definitely is still on the move. A lot of people from talking today have already shared a lot of experiences from what this energy is doing in their life. So be compassionate with yourself. Be patient. There's gonna be a lot of things that are probably gonna trigger the hell out of you. It's gonna really, really stress you and test you, to your core. And definitely, this is where you reheart yourself of all the teachings, disciplines, and practices that you have honed in, anchored in these moments, have mastered, and you just go back to the practices. When things get really, really hard, chaotic, you don't know what's going on, things seem messy, go back to the practice. Stick to what's simple. Simplify everything, okay? It's the quickest thing. When it's complex and complicated and it's like, I can't, no. Ego, right? Mom says, make it simple. Simplify everything. Break it down. When things in your life are getting crazy, center, internalize, go slow, right? And just move with the flow of things. Don't attach. Don't externalize. Don't project. Don't blame. Allow everything to play, moving past you, okay? Be someone sitting in a movie theater or a child at a parade, okay? When you go to those places, you sit your butt in one spot and you allow it to play out in front of you. You don't get up at every single moment and say, hey, I don't agree with this. Hey, I don't like this part. Can we fast forward this? No, you shut up and you sit there and you allow the experience to play out before you and allow you to see what the ending experience is going to be. That's a lot of what it's like in this experience for us, especially for the people who are going through these massive transformations. The outside world is not going to really reflect a lot of what's going on inside because the outside world's completely nuts, right? So don't go looking for validation outside yourself because most of the time it's not going to come, right? You gotta get trusting with yourself, confident, empowered, and just make the choice. You gotta do this like everybody else, and if you gotta go through it anyways, you might as well do it the best that you can, the strongest that you can. Finish this last stretch, the strongest that you have pushed it, okay? Because this is the last stretch, humanity. In these very few short years, we are going to arrive to a place you have only seen in your dreams. And it's going to be reality. And it's only going to happen if you and me and everybody else on this physical planet gets our balls, makes a choice, and decides that this is what we want to live for. We are worthy of love. And we are worthy of a planet full of love, without despair and ego and fear and pain and suffering. We, as children of God, do deserve love. Not because it's owed to us, because we are love. Therefore, there's nothing else. It's just love. So I love you all. Take care of yourselves. Beautiful, beautiful people. Happy Sunday. I guess for a lot of people, I don't know, probably some people around the world on different days. So happy Sunday to everyone on Telegram, YouTube, Facebook. Thank you for joining. I love you all. We will be back with you tomorrow morning on Monday with Buddha and Jerry at 6 a.m. Mountain Time and 8 a.m. Eastern Time. So love you all. Take care of yourselves and definitely do a ceremony. Oh, that's what I'm going to share. Ceremony. I was like, there's one more thing. Yesterday was the 9/11 portal day as well. So for anyone who did not do ceremonies on 9/9 or 9/11, the day after is prime time to do ceremonies for both those days. Knock those out, get the energy out, release it. It will help you so much. Doing ceremonies and releasing those energies, writing it down, getting it out and expressing it, versus holding it inside the entire time, trying to carry yourself like a ticking time bomb. Okay? Do yourself a favor. Support yourself. Allow the road to be a little bit non-turbulent for yourself, okay? Get shit out of the way so it's a cleaner path for you and you'll feel way more better and blissful going down that road, okay? Love you all. Take care of yourselves. We will see you back tomorrow.